Welcome to the Coop Tank. I'm your host, Steve Cooper, coming to you from SuiteRecording in beautiful Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And I'm here with my producer, Joe Gangemi. And people, if you notice when you watch the show, when I look over there, Joe's actually in the other room, but I just want to give the illusion that Joe's in the room. And I usually ask Joe a question, but he's going to tell us about SuiteRecording, but Joe has a really awesome side hustle that I want him to share with you. So, Joe, how you doing?
Coop, I'm doing great, brother.
So tell me, I saw you're on LinkedIn. Tell me about this little side hustle you got going.
Yeah, so I've always had a passion for woodworking. I worked with my dad in the construction and carpentry industry for several years, and he and I have been working on some cool wooden creations like custom wood signs for your home or office, coasters, clocks, cutting boards, and some things like that. So we always love to get creative, so you can feel free to reach out to us if you're looking for anything in particular. But take a look at our work at gangemiwoodworks.com or follow us on social media at gangemiwoodworks.com. That's spelled Gangemi. Thanks, Coop.
Yeah, no. Also, though, you got to tell us all about your day job, SuiteRecording, which is a wonderful place. Tell me about it.
Yeah, thanks, Coop. SuiteRecording is a content and podcast studio here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, where we help brands and businesses like Coop to leverage the power of podcasts, LinkedIn video, video and audio content, like sort of just kind of writ large, you know. Podcasting is a great tool for generating high impact content like video clips, blog posts, newsletters, and more, but it's also great for business development too, in the way that you can really connect with people and strengthen relationships. So if you're interested in learning how we can take your business and turn it into a killer podcast, reach out to us anytime at hello@suiterecording.com or visit us on the web at suiterecording.com. That's spelled SUITE. Take it away, Coop.
Okay, we have a great show today. We have a great panel. I found out there's one Stockton graduate, and there's someone else who also went to Stockton, and which I always love, my fellow Ospreys. But before I bring him on, I want to give a shout out to my sponsor. You know, Laurel Lanes. Laurel Lanes is the ultimate entertainment center. They have 60 lanes of bowling. They have state-of-the-art arcade games. They have a private luxury suite. They have something for everyone, and they're great for corporate events and birthday parties. And then I do a networking event once a month there in the Splits Bar and Grill, their bar. And if you do a networking event, the first one you do, they'll give 10% back of your sales to your charity of choice. And you got to go to Splits. At Splits Bar and Grill, they have a happy hour from 4 to 7, Monday through Friday. Great deals. I mean, $2.50 beers, $5 appetizers. And during the month, they have beer pong. They have karaoke. They have all this good stuff to do. And on the way out, if you're still hankering for a sweet treat, they have an ice cream parlor. They have these homemade concoctions, and it's called Lickety Splits. And they actually have one with alcohol. They have a butter pecan bourbon, which I've had. Is very good. So please go down on Route 73, Splits in Laurel Lanes, and check them out at laurellainesnj.com. All right. Anyway, we have a great show today. And my first guest, I actually met her last week. Dan Ninnerall introduced me at the Hamilton Happy Hour, which is also the second Thursday of every month. Go look up Allison Gallagher. It's always a great event. And from the Shine Coaching Group, it's Kathy Citera. How you doing, Kathy?
I'm doing great, Steve. How are you? So happy to be here.
Good. And the next person I also met at the Hamilton Happy Hour, from Abacus Payroll, it's AnneMarie Galfo. How you doing, AnneMarie?
Okay. It's great to be here.
All right. And finally, I've never met this person, but I see her on LinkedIn, and she went to Stockton. She's a fellow Osprey. So anytime people, if you went to Stockton, you see me on LinkedIn, and you say, I went to Stockton, I'm probably going to put you on my show because I love my school. And it's from Firstrust Bank. It's Kahla Miscavage. How you doing, Kahla?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Kathy, we're going to start with you. Tell us what you do. Tell us about what you're doing about your company.
So I'm a coach, and I help high performers and all kinds of people just move everything out of their way so they can live the life that they are here to live and optimize their happiness and joy and productivity and all the other things.
Okay. And AnneMarie, tell us, I know you've been Abacus, I think, for 8 years now. Tell us a little about Abacus Payroll.
So we're a payroll processing company. So we process payroll for companies that have one employee up to hundreds of employees all across the country. So I'm in charge of processing payroll. I set up new accounts, kind of help employers streamline their process when paying their employees.
Okay. And finally, Kahla, tell us about Firstrust Bank and what you do there.
Yeah, I am a VP SBA lender. So I help small businesses get any lending that they may need, whether it's a startup who has no historical financials or a business that may have some needs that maybe have some hair on it, but have to go SBA.
Okay, so it's a diverse panel. That's always good. A lot of different areas we're covering here, and I always think everyone has a story how they got to different places. And Kathy, what was your path to becoming a coach? Because I always wonder, I meet a lot of coaches out there, and but how does someone become a coach? How did you become a coach?
Well, my story began when I was 12, and I was a candy striper at Lady of Lourdes Hospital with my best friend for a couple of summers. And I realized we used to just, refill water pitchers, change bedding, that kind of stuff, when you could get into the hospitals in that way to volunteer. And I realized as I would walk into the rooms of these patients that I had an effect on their mood just by walking in the door and smiling at them and saying hi. So somewhere in my little 12-year-old mind, I tucked that in, moved forward with my life, got married, had 3 children, supported my husband, my parenting partner now, in his restaurant business. He worked 6 days a week, so I was home with the kids, and I would do all kinds of volunteer work for the hospital and sit on boards and that kind of stuff, raise money. And as much as that was great work, it was like, wah, wah, like that, something was missing. So a friend of mine asked me, believe it or not, at a gala one time, she said, what do you think about being a crime victims advocate? And I said, tell me more. So it was for the state of New York. I worked for Family Services, and we would man the hotline, the people who would go out at night, not a full-time social worker. They worked during the day. We would go out at night and meet clients at either the hospital at a safe room where they're about to get a forensic exam, or we would then, either or take them to the police station to file a complaint. And it was my first night, believe it or not, in a safe room with a client. And all I was there with her. I just was stroking her hair, holding her hand as she's getting this very invasive exam because it was sexual assault. And I realized at this minute I had one of those like moments of like, oh my gosh, I'm a candy striper again. This is what I want. And I realized in that moment. And then it was really from there, it was just really realizing, how do I get there? I could do this work, no problem, without any other degrees. I was 45. So I was like, all right, do I become a psychologist? Do I become a social worker? None of those paths felt like me. They took too long. And somebody introduced me to coaching, and I never looked back. I love the forward momentum, the process. I love helping people. So I'm like a big girl candy striper.
All right. I like how you go. That's pretty cool. Last time I did that, I smoked really strong pot at Reggae in the River in Humboldt County, like year 2000.
I don't do good with pot.
I don't smoke either. So, okay. So Kahla, I want to know, you go from Stockton and now you're in the bank world, you're a VP. What was your path? And, have you been in banking the whole time, or how did you end up where you are?
No, not at all. I originally went to school for radiology. I wanted to be in the ultrasound for maternity. And I actually had a beautiful blessing 16 years ago that kind of made me have to change my path a little bit. So I figured, what can I do to get through school and get a good career, but do it quickly, because I cannot go to school for another 10 to 15 years. I apologize. And then I decided that I was going to go to school for business, and I wanted to do medical and pharmaceutical. But unfortunately, I ended up taking a job during college as an internship with a law firm, and I worked my way up. I worked there for 6 years, and I just understood in their finance department how to run a business. And then when I graduated college, it was just an easy fit for me. To have those open conversations with business owners and say, hey, listen, this is what you're going to need to have operating working capital, and, make sure your operating cycles and your cash flow are going on a day-to-day basis. And then it just kind of flourished from there. I was in business banking. I worked for Citizens Bank and Santander Bank for quite some time. And then the commercial lending piece came in, and the SBA piece came in with Santander. And it's just been an easy niche ever since.
Okay. Santander had those really like creepy commercials with like the lizard or something walking the street. I remember they would freak me out. I don't know if you
The
remember that.
piggy bank, the
Yeah,
piggy,
that
the
was they
piggy.
were freaky, man. I was like, I don't want to see a piggy bank walking around the street. Anne-Marie, you've been with there for 8 years, but how was your path to Abacus? Which I saw Angela Venti. I spoke at an event yesterday with Angela and Francesca, and she told me they said Francesca's all excited you're on my show. Tell about your path to Abacus.
Actually, I've been in the payroll industry for, it's got to be over 20 years now. All local companies within the area along the shore. I just got into it by chance. I was looking for a job, answered an ad for somebody to do data entry, and it just turned into my career now. It's not usually something that somebody says, hey, you know what, I think I want to process payroll for a living. But I enjoy it. Obviously, I've been doing it for so long. I enjoy dealing with the clients, learning more about their businesses. I get to talk to people all over the country, which is nice. I enjoy trying to help them figure out the best ways to streamline their process because, let's face it, especially with small companies, they don't all have like HR departments to handle, the employees, and they're trying to juggle that part of it and, also run their business. So I enjoy working with them to see, what we can do for them to make things easier. But, I've always been in customer service probably ever since I got out of high school.
Okay. Okay, I have a question because I'm talking to y'all three, and I said
Sure.
you're very diverse, but all of what you do, there's a lot of. Okay. You go to an event, there's coaches, payroll. I mean, I know 87 people in payroll, banking. I mean, I've been to chamber events where I'm the only person at a table with all bankers. So we're going to start with you, Kahla. Why, if I'm a business owner or if I'm someone who needs your services, why am I picking you over everyone else, Kahla?
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really good question. It's something I get a lot. I was actually just having a conversation with somebody about this the other day. I feel like it's similar with COVID, similar with in the sense of when COVID hit, everybody wanted to be a realtor, right? Because the rates were low, the market was great, and everybody was selling and making a lot of money. And pre-COVID, a lot of the banks weren't really involved in SBA, or they didn't want to be involved in SBA. But as soon as COVID hit, all the banks wanted to be involved in SBA, but they weren't well versed in it. They didn't have a good process on hand. It takes a lot of time to really learn the ins and outs of the SBA and how to get deals done for your borrowers and how you can structure those deals. It's not something you just learn overnight. So one of the things that I say is just making sure that you have a lender that has a very good experience in SBA and knows how to get a deal done for their borrowers that's going to be the best fit for them. But also on the back end, making sure that you have a bank that has a very good process in hand, because I see a lot of bait and switch where you promise your clients and borrowers the world, and then you have customers that come to you and they're like, this process took 6 to 8 months and I just had a bad experience because it was either the lender that they were dealing with or the bank not having a good handle on the processes that need to be put in place in order to make sure that you're efficient and effective.
Okay. How about you, Anne-Marie? Because I run into a lot of payroll. I mean, you run into them too. I mean, every event there's a lot of payroll, and I'm friends with everyone. And I'm sitting there going, and they say, "Who are you going to refer?" I go, "Whoever pays me the most money." Now, why am I choosing Abacus? I have a company, small company. I need payroll. Why am I coming to you?
The main thing is our customer service. We're good at what we do, but we listen to our clients. When you call, you get a live person. I can't even tell you how many times we talk to new clients and they're, coming from another payroll company and they don't like them because they can't get through to anybody. A lot of automation. Real people answer our phones and you get right to us. We're like I said, we respond to everything. We listen to what they need to come up with solutions for them. So, that's the main thing. And most clients that you talk to of ours, though, they will tell you that the big thing that they like about us is our customer service.
Okay. And Kathy, there's a lot of coaches out there, especially since the pandemic. There's a shitload of coaches. So why am I coming? I need a coach. Why am I coming to you?
So I think the biggest thing that one of my superpowers is creating that safe, judgment-free zone where people feel really comfortable to give me all the goods. I'm like the trouble whisperer. Um, Really, it's the vibe. You meet somebody at a networking event. I totally vibed with you the other night. People want to know, can you help me? So I don't have a lot of bells and whistles around my practice. I relentlessly pursue different modalities. I've been doing my own work for 20 years. I've been coaching for 12, and I am looking for every hack to deliver to myself first, because I'm always my own guinea pig, and then my clients. So I think a great reason to work with me, and I do all kinds of things, one-on-one coaching, speaking. Right now I'm doing talks in businesses about emotional intelligence and communication. And, you're all thrown together at work. It's not like you choose each other. And it can be really difficult. But I think mainly I make people feel safe. I make people feel seen and heard. And if I can help them, I do. And if I can't, I'll refer them to somebody else that I love. Um, yeah, and I over deliver on my coaching.
Okay, that's fair enough. So you all have good reasons. Now it's 2025. It's crazy. This year is already flying by. I mean, when this airs, it's going to be March. It's going to be Friday the 20th. This way or next week. So for 2025, and I set goals. I was never a goal setter. I put some goals on, and I've already attained a few of them. And so for you, AnneMarie, are you a goal setter? And if you are, what is one of your goals? You're in sales, so of course you are. What is one of your goals for 2025?
Well, that's a good question. I try to set goals. I don't always stick to it, but just to keep improving on, the service that, for me personally, that I provide to the clients that I deal with. I just always want to make sure that everybody is happy with the service they're getting and, comfortable with speaking with myself or anybody else that's, within our company. I don't want anybody to feel that, we're not listening to them.
Okay.
So that's my main goal, just to continue to improve upon, the things I do now.
Okay.
So it can't be perfect. I'm pretty close though.
But there you go. So you're pretty close. Kathy, goals 2025. Have you set some, or are you a goal setter?
I'm a goal setter, and February is the time that I implement, because I spend January kind of reassessing the last year. Who have I been? What have I been doing? What worked? What didn't? So my goals for this year, I'm going to finish my book. I'm not going to say the title because who knows, somebody could change that. I want to launch my group program. And what was the other thing? Oh my gosh, I had something else. Maybe I'll come back to it. Personal goals. I want to get 10,000 steps in a day. I want to get 100 ounces of water in my body a day and get back to consistently going to the gym.
Okay, that's fair enough. How about you, Kahla? Because you're in a competitive field, and once again, you're in sales somewhat. And when you're in a sales situation, you always have goals set by your bosses. I mean, it's just a matter of because if you don't, but have you set any goals, professional, for personal, for 2025?
Yeah, I would say professionally, I truly enjoy making connections, whether I'm connecting people to me or I'm meeting new people myself. I also enjoy the fact of when I'm helping a customer, if I personally don't think that I can help them, making sure that I have a solution or somebody that I can refer them to that I know can help them. So just making sure in 2025 that my customers feel like their needs are met. And if they aren't, I have a solution for them. And on the back end professionally, I just think I would love to meet and keep making connections and also helping other people connect that I think would, vibe well.
Okay, so let's go back to 2024. We just talked about what you're looking for in 2025. Start with you, Kathy. In 2024, what's a lesson? I'm saying like a business lesson, something you learned, that you may have not known about business. Is there anything that you learned or something that was a valuable learning experience in 2024 when it comes to your business?
I would say the biggest lesson, I had a lot of stuff going on personally with my family in 2024, and it was really weighing heavily on me. And to trust myself and to really have faith that if I just take the next step, one more step, that I'm going to get where I have to go. I don't need any, confidence is going to come on the way. Motivation is going to come on the way. So really just faith and trust in my vision, in where I want to go. And that, yes, there are people out there who want to align with me and work with me.
Okay. How about you, AnneMarie?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not really sure. I mean, 2024 just kind of went by in a blur. Like Kathy, I had some things going on personally. So I think the biggest thing was, learning how to try and, I don't even know, to better manage my time between the personal and the business. Like I said, I mean, I'm lucky I can remember what I did yesterday. But I mean, I can't even believe it's already, February's almost over already. So it's just, I don't know.
Okay, it's no problem. It's always, sometimes we don't know. You look back, I look back, and we forget stuff. I'm getting, as I get older, I forget stuff all the time. My wife's like, you forgot that, and I'm like, well, she goes, you can remember the cast of like any TV show from the '70s, but you don't remember this.
Right.
But I always remember her birthday and her anniversary. I will never forget that because I'm a romantic at heart. Kahla, how about you? Something in 2024 that you learned when it comes to business that was valuable to you?
Yeah, I think, just in banking, whether it's the actual financial institution that you work for or the SBA, the rules are ever changing, the programs are ever changing. What you can do, 1 month may change into the next. So just making sure you're educating yourself. I want to make sure, in 2025, learning that, I'm making sure I'm staying with the changes, understanding them, and, advocating for my customers, make sure that, meeting their needs to the changes that either the credit from that financial institution has implemented or the SBA.
Okay. So when we get up in the morning, you toil around sometimes. I've been getting good at getting up early because my wife gets up early and then I end up getting up. And you have to get motivated. Motivation's hard sometimes. I mean, if you sit there especially in this weather, it's so cold. It's like, I don't want to get out. I got to go out. Or when it snows, I don't want to go out and clean the car off. And I go out and clean my wife's car off. Luckily, we live in a condo, so they shovel everything and they don't have to do that. But, it's hard to get motivated. So, Kahla, in the morning or in your day, what gets you motivated? Like just in the day, because you're going to work, I'm sure you love your job, but what motivates you?
Well, I would hate to not say money, but in sales, that's what it is, money. But I would say the one thing that motivates me is just feeling like I've accomplished something. When I feel like I'm hitting walls with, certain deals, that things appear that you didn't anticipate on happening. When I get through those hurdles and I get to the finish line, then it's like, okay, this was why I'm doing what I'm doing. It just makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something, not for just my customers, but also for myself. And then that motivates me to want more. It's like a high. It's like a adrenaline rush. I just want more and more and more. So, just making sure that not only for me, obviously every deal that I do is only going to get me to my goals and where I want to be, but also in the sense of feeling like I'm successful at what I do, I'm helping somebody, and that makes me feel like, okay, I want more of this. And that's kind of what motivates me.
Okay. How about you, Kathy? What motivates you?
So I'm with you, Steve. There's nothing that wants me to get out of bed in the morning, especially in the winter when it's dark. So the first thing I focus on is, while I'm still in bed, is that I want to do the thing that I'm getting out of bed for. So let's say it's going to the gym. I've got to change that mental script. Motivation's never going to come to me under the covers and, as my alarm's going off. I have to move. So I have to like get something, besides an ejector button to get myself out of bed. So if I can make myself remember why, it's really easy to curl up under the covers and just, let me go back to sleep. So if I'm going to the gym, I have to remember, why am I going to the gym? I don't want to go to the gym at 6 a.m. But when I leave the gym at 7 a.m., I feel amazing. I want to be more flexible. I want to be stronger. So I have to get tied really strongly to to like why. And just like Kahla in business, there's a ton of stuff as an entrepreneur I don't feel like doing. I mean, you all have aspects of your work, everybody, that you don't want to do. But I can't do this. I can't coach. I can't be one-on-one with people if I don't do all those things in my business that I can't stand to do. So I just try and remind myself, and I promise myself sometimes when it's really hard, hey, just do this for 10 minutes. Get up for 10 minutes. If you want to get back under the covers in 10 minutes, go ahead. Write the email, write the blog post, do the thing for 10 minutes. If you want to stop after 10 minutes, I give you full permission, no judgment. And most of the time, once you get started for 10 minutes, you're good to go. Oh, let me just finish this. And then it just goes. But motivation, I love Mel Robbins. She's like, motivation is crap. Don't wait for motivation. It's never going to come. You have to take the action. The motivation will come on the way.
Okay, that's good enough. That's good. How about you, AnneMarie? What motivates you?
I don't know, because I'm one of those, I hit snooze about 10 times before I even get my day started. I don't know. I just, some days, like you said, you don't want to get out of bed, but other days, once I get myself up and moving and think about the day, I have a little bit of a commute to get to work. So sometimes, if I'm listening to the radio, whether it's music or, sports radio or listening to a podcast, there's usually something within there that just kind of sets off a little light bulb in, my head for the day to just say, okay, let's move on and get this going and just, go about my day. I don't know.
Well, if you listen to podcasts, you just listen to Cooper Talk. People go to coopertalk.net. I have over 1,033 episodes. Gino Vanelli, I'm posting that today. I just said my friend Gary Kemp from Spandau Ballet, who wrote the song True. It's really good. You can check it out. I've had 4 members of the E Street Band. Checked it out. So,
nice.
Give myself
I
a
will
plug.
do that.
Get myself. So, Kahla had mentioned accomplishments. Okay, about you want to accomplish something. So I'm going to feed off of that, and we're going to start with you, Kathy. In the last 5 years, we'll give 5 years. If it's a little more, a little whatever. In that time, what is a professional and a personal accomplishment that makes you very proud?
Personal, I have to say, I have 3 children. They are all on their paths, healthy, happy, well-regulated, well-adjusted, emotionally intelligent human beings. There is nothing better no personal goal that could be better, sweeter than that. Professionally, I have worked with, in the past 5 years, I have crested 900 clients, 900 people, individuals that I have helped, not 900 sessions, 900 individuals that I have helped.
Okay.
So that feels pretty big.
That's kick ass. That's really good. You should be very proud of that. That's a good accomplishment. Kahla, what's something, personal, professional, last 5 years that you're very proud of? Accomplishments.
I would say, personal. I have 6 kids between me and my partner, so we're constantly on the go. But they are all very great kids. They're young, 16 to 5 is our youngest. But they're all really great kids. So that makes me really happy that they're happy, they're healthy, they're thriving. Professionally, I would say accomplishments, the one thing that I feel accomplished when I talk to, COIs, Center of Influences, referral partners, when they call me and they say, hey, you were really great on this deal, or we heard somebody, really rave about you and said that you're great, you're very knowledgeable in your industry, you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing. We would love to do business. Or, hey, I had a great experience with you. Here's another referral that I have for you for somebody who's looking for a business loan. Those type of things, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel accomplished because I know that whoever I dealt with had a great experience, whether it was on the referral side or if it was an actual customer itself. And especially when they come back to me and they say, hey, I need another loan. I want to expand to another location. And we had a great experience with you on the first or the second. Those things really make me feel accomplished in what I'm doing.
Okay. How about you, AnneMarie? What's an accomplishment in the last 5 years that you're very proud of, personal and professional?
Well, professional, I'd have to say helping grow the business. Like you mentioned earlier, I've been here for 8 years. So in that time that I've been here, I've worked to make some changes within the company to, make our processes a little more streamlined. Like I said, help grow the business, bring in new clients. As you mentioned, Francesca earlier, she's great. So I work closely with her to, bring in the new clients and, get everybody situated. But that's probably, the biggest thing. But professionally, just like Kahla and Kathy, I have a son who you'll be happy to know graduated from Stockton, who is currently a grad student at UCF working towards his PhD. So, personally, he is definitely my biggest accomplishment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's funny, Kahla, you brought up two things, to points. You brought up the accomplishments, which made me go into the question. And this I was going to ask later, but now because you said it, you brought about referrals. And I want to talk about, because we network, and when you network a lot, it really cuts out that old school cold calling, because it's a different thing. You meet so many people. Like I was at an event last night, I can go to one event a week and I meet like 30 people, 35, and people I don't know. And so it's so important. But what also sucks is that when you meet a lot of people, they always want referrals. Like I get this on Facebook a lot. Someone sits there and says, I get a request, like this company. Well, I don't know anything about that company. Like, why would I like that company? Because what if one of my friends goes there and it sucks? They're not going to be mad at the company. They're going to be mad at me. So we all meet a lot of people. And we're going to start with you, Kahla. What qualities or business practices does someone have for you to sit there and personally refer them? Because if you give shitty referrals, it comes back on you and people don't trust you. And that's the whole thing about building a network is trust. So Kahla, what is something that, what are some qualities or practices? If I came to you and said, hey, Kahla, I need a plumber. And if you knew a plumber, what was something that would make them trust you to refer?
Yeah, I honestly think it's word of mouth. I truly believe it. And me personally as well, when I'm doing a loan, I not only need to do the loan myself as the lender with the bank that I'm working for, but I'm also going to need to have my borrower, if I have a borrower purchasing a piece of real estate, we're going to need a title company. We're going to need, or if I have a business that's a startup and they're going to need business insurance, workers' comp insurance, life insurance. So I have to refer my clients to multiple people across the board. We need to get business evaluations. We need to get real estate appraisals. We need to get phase 1 environmentals. There's a lot of players in the game when it comes to lending. So just making sure that when I am working with these people, not only do I trust a referral from somebody who's worked with them before, so somebody saying, hey, this person's great, you should give them a time, but also after having multiple conversations with them or connecting with them one-on-one and talking with them and just kind of understanding their processes, what makes them successful and how it's going to benefit my client, I feel like is very, very important, because I don't want to be referring my clients to the wrong people and then it affecting me, in the long run, because my clients trust me as an advisor. So that's very, very important.
Okay.
And I feel like it goes the other way around about me as well. People want to make sure that if they're going to refer a loan or a friend to a bank, they want to make sure the lender is very qualified and knowledgeable and efficient. So I would think referrals and word of mouth would be very, very important.
Okay, how about you, AnneMarie? Because I'm sure people ask you, because you encompass the whole business and you meet people. What does someone need for you to refer them?
Yeah, I mean, if it's somebody that I know personally, it would really depend on, how they handle themselves and, depending on what their business is, how good they are, of course. But I'm the type of person that I don't like to be sold to. So like, I want somebody to listen. So that's the type of person that I'm going to refer to anybody who asks me for a referral. I want somebody who's going to listen to what the person needs. If I don't know anybody personally that they're looking for, I'm going to look to my network, my friends, people that I've met at, the different networking events, and, see who people trust, basically. It's just, I know a lot of people in a lot of different businesses, not just, through my job, but, personally as well. And so I want to make sure that, everybody's getting the best quality person that they can get.
Okay. How about you, Kathy? What do you need to refer people?
They need to have some raving fans. So if I'm referring clients to, say, a therapist, a reflexologist, a massage therapist, something like that, I have to have that experience first. Or, sometimes divorce attorneys, mediators, stuff like that. So I either have to meet with that person. Kahla was saying that I want to vet them myself. If I can experience what it is that they do, I want to do that. There are people in my life that if they are like a raving fan, I consider that like 100% vetting, you know. And then there's other people where you got to kind of test the waters. But I think that consistency, and I'm with Kahla too on the referrals, like I'm almost 100% referral based at this point. And, you got to have the experience of something to really be like a raving fan. So that's what I look for is, what experience do you have with this person? I just don't want people going, oh, well, this is the first name that came up in my Rolodex. Try this person. Because that can be a really bad fit. And the person can have a bad experience.
Okay, so if you've noticed, if the viewers have noticed, it's an all-female panel today, and I do this like every 4 or 5 weeks. I have an all-female panel, and I've told this story before. So if you've watched the show before, tough shit. I'm telling you again. The reason I'm really supportive of females in the business workplace is because my mom came from immigrant parents. My grandparents I never really met. They passed when I was very young, and they ended up in Northeast Philly, and my mom was born in 1930. And in 1952, she graduated Temple University with a degree in marketing. She was the only woman in her classes. She actually then interviewed, she was engaged to my father. She interviewed with Campbell Soup. They recruited her. By the time she had left college, she had a job with them. She didn't wear her engagement ring because back then everyone thought if you got married, you became a nurse or a teacher or you just didn't work. And so then she waited to have kids. So I grew up with a working mother. And then when she got older, when us kids were born, she stayed at home. And then when we got older, where my big sister could watch us, she went back to work. So I've always been very supportive of the women in the workplace. And I think that, I can imagine the shit she went through because it was a total man's world back then. I mean, especially in marketing. Do you still think, and I know it's changing because I always say when there's so many great female networking groups, you have, Joe Colantonio, you have NABO, you have Kelly Wernersbach, all these groups, they just bring stuff up. Melissa Beach has a thing. So I think there's a very strong support network, NABO, everything. But do you encounter ever networking or in the workplace that you feel that it's still sometimes a man's world? And do you feel, Kathy, do you feel that when you're out networking, or do you ever feel that sometimes things should be changed a lot more? But they haven't, in my eyes. They still are, but you still get that creep who's like, oh, yeah, check that woman out. No, you don't check that woman out at a networking event. You're at a fucking networking event, okay? You sit there and you meet them for business. But have you encountered any of this in what you do, Kathy?
100%. Yeah, sadly, not with individual clients, because I wouldn't be working with that person if they were being that way in like a consult or something. But absolutely. And especially if you're there at a networking event and you're kind of standing alone or something, it's, like people just think they want to crowd on you. Professionally speaking, I don't really feel a lot of male-female competition. I don't know if it's because we're all kind of remote or everybody's got their ray of sunshine that attracts their people. I don't know what that is, but as far as being in a workplace or a networking or anywhere where I hate to stereotype, anywhere where there's a large male presence, yeah, you can be pretty assured that somebody's going to be giving you eyes or offering to buy you a drink or something. sadly.
Just, guys, if you want to buy me a drink, anyone, guys, feel free. I'll take a free drink. I bought my friend Mid bought me a beer last night. I was very happy. AnneMarie, have you run into any of this? Because I don't know, like there's some companies that payroll, it's very male. Like and I'm not going to mention the company's name, but it's like all males, and we'll talk about it after. But do you run into it at all in what you do or at networking events?
I personally have not, no. And besides here where I'm at now and previous jobs, where there was actually quite a few women that I've worked with. So it wasn't like, that there was any more men working there than there were women. And, most of the people that I've worked with here and, in my previous jobs and everybody's always pretty mellow. Nobody's ever had that type of that kind of a mindset. Well, I'm a man, I'm better than you. And, I've never really encountered that in the business world anyway. So.
Well, that's good. You're lucky. Kahla, I want to ask you this because in the past, your industry was very male dominated. I mean, you had women being tellers, but it was very male, and it still some was. But what have you encountered?
Actually, in my banking career and lending career, I have had 3 very amazing female bosses that have definitely been amazing mentors. So in terms of the male versus female, not so much, but what I do feel like I see a lot is, being young in this environment, because people in banking, they stay in banking for a very long time. So they say, oh, well, I have 40, 50 years of experience, et cetera. So being young in this field, especially colleagues, whether female or male, being younger, it's kind of looked at as maybe less or incompetent, I should say, because you're not as knowledgeable, but that's complete opposite. It's really just making sure you're educating yourself to be successful in this industry, but not necessarily so much women versus man, I would say.
It's funny you bring it up. My friend Pat McCrindle's, I think he's 25. He's a financial planner, and he goes through the same thing. People are like, well, what do you know? Well, why am I going to invest my money? And it's so funny that there is ageism. You usually think of ageism as, pushing the older people out, but there are, I think it's also that, and I was talking about this on a Zoom call this morning, I'm older, but I always want to learn. I want to meet young people and see what's happening. But a lot of people who are older don't have that. They're like, oh, it's my way or the highway. And it's really scary. And it's like, there's so much out there. And it's where it's a two-way street where we can teach younger people can teach me. So that's the thing. So I'm sure I know what you're going through with the thing, because people go, oh, what do you know? You're going to banking. So that's just crazy. So
Things are always ever changing. And I feel like too, you're right when you say you have people that are, oh, this is the way I've done it for so many years and I'm always going to do it. But then there's the younger generation that's learning the new ways and staying with the trends and educating them on the trends and the constant changes in our environment, our economic environment. So there's benefits to both, but I don't feel like sometimes you always get that positive feedback.
Okay. So let's talk about us. We can talk about this is the time where you get to brag about yourself. And when you're not on LinkedIn, because I always say everyone on LinkedIn brags about themselves. Everything say, I got an event in China in 2028. Are you going to come see it? No, it's in 2028. It's in China, and we're in 2025. It's just, I always laugh about that sometimes. People put good posts up, but there's a lot of bloviating, as you could say. A lot of people just really pat themselves in the back, which is good. I do it. I'm an egotist. I'm not lying. I'm an entertainer. I always say I'm insecure and I'm narcissistic. I'm both of them. That's like the worst mix. But talking about yourself, let's talk about yourself. Okay, we're going to start with you, Lisa. I called you Lisa, Kathy. We're going to start with you, Kathy. What is a part of your personality that you're glad you have? And you're like, this is me. I can say, I'm funny. I've been on stage. I can tell people I'm funny. I'm not full of shit. What is a part of your personality that you can say, this is my strong point. I'm really good at this.
Gosh, how many? How many things can I list? And I have an event in China in 2027.
Yeah,
Will you come?
that's it. There you go. I'll come. I'll go.
Right. Um, Professionally, personally, do you
It's
care?
your choice. It's your choice. It's your time to talk about yourself.
Professionally speaking, I find that one of my biggest qualities is I have a great ability to connect and make people feel safe and welcome. That would probably be, and professionally speaking, I'm so relentless in seeking down. Like I just became a menopause coach. I am going to California to finish my certification in June for RTT, which is rapid transformational therapy, which is a quasi hypnosis kind of thing. I do tapping, EFT with people. I do Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian forgiveness practice. So I'm always looking for the fastest, quickest. How can I come at you and your issue? So professionally, I would think those are the things I'm most proud of. The container I can build. And then personally, I think I'm trustworthy. I'm very loyal. I'm a real cheerleader for my friends. Um, and I'm wise. I think I'm at a point in my life where I would call myself wise. I have a great ability to stand back and not take things personally. As one of my teachers always says, she's like, get out of the doorway and get up on the rooftop. So I have a great ability to get up on the rooftop and have like a larger perspective instead of staying, looking into the room where the problem is and only seeing the problem. So even in my friendships.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wise is a really good word. You need to use the word wise more. That is a really good, I'm glad you brought that word up. No one really talks about wisdom and why. And that's a good word. Thanks for bringing it up. I'm going to start using that. I'm going to tell my wife, I'm very wise, so you better listen to me. And she'll go sleep on the couch. That's what will happen tonight.
Oh, Frank laughs at me and he's like, yeah, okay. Is that what that snake oil stuff that you do and your pots and your?
By the way, menopause. My wife used black quahog. It's a herb. It's a root. When you go through menopause, ladies, black quahog. You can get it at CVS or Amazon, but it did wonders for her. AnneMarie, toot your own horn, as my mom would say. Toot your own horn, AnneMarie. Tell us what is when you do professional and personal, each a quality that you're really proud you have.
Well, I don't know that anybody would agree with me, but I think, I'm good at listening, on the professional side, maybe not so much on the personal side. If I'm talking to my significant other, he might not agree that I listen. But listening, I like to help people, both professionally and personally, try to, personally, I try to, do volunteer work when I have time to do it. Unfortunately, I don't always have the time, but, that just, I don't know. I'm the type of person that I'll joke around and tell you, like I said earlier, I'm almost perfect. But at the same time, I don't really talk about myself that way too much about, I'm good at this or I'm good at that. I just, I kind of go with it.
Well, you should. You should. If you're good at something, it's not bragging if it's true. If you're great at payroll, if you're great at that, if you walk in a room and say, I'm great in payroll, and people know you and they'll go, yeah, she's great in payroll. Now, you don't want them to say, no, she sucks at payroll. She's awful. But
Right.
If you're great at payroll, you should. And that's the thing. I think because we've been so inundated with people just talking about how great they are. But when you're really great at something, you should take the pride in that because it's something you've been in this business, a long time. You should just sit there and go, hey, man, why am I going to choose you? Because I'm great in payroll. And, if someone said that I'd be like, oh, wow, this person's really interesting. I want to talk to him. And so that's just my 2 cents. But Kahla, let's give us one for you. Let's give us a professional and personal.
I would say professionally, we're in business development, so you can't be an introvert. You have to be an extrovert. You have to be welcoming. You have to be social. You have to be easy to talk to and be able to carry conversations. And I think one of the things that I do professionally and on the personal side too is I try to be as honest as possible. if I don't think that I can do something, or even if I think that I can do it, but I don't think it would be a good fit for that person, I'm going to tell you. I don't pride myself on doing anything for a borrower or a client if it's not going to be a good fit for them. So always being honest. And I feel like that just pays off in the long run, because they're going to come back to you more and say, hey, thank you for being honest, you know? So I think that that also kind of overflows into my personal life, because maybe sometimes I'm a little too honest, but you know, I feel like honesty goes a long way.
Okay. And from being honest, you do become wise. And that is true because you learn a
There
lot.
you
If you're
go.
honest, no, you do. Because people are like, people can take it
Mhm.
the wrong way sometimes, but honesty is so true. So,
Yeah.
okay. So y'all got to talk about yourselves. Well, AnneMarie was very modest, which is all right. But, she's great at payroll. That's what your card should say. I'm great at payroll. And Abacus will go, why are you putting this on your card? We're not getting these. So we talked about our upside. And Kahla, now give me something you need to improve on. You already said, you're honest and we know you work hard and you're
Mhm.
but what is something you need to improve on? And it can be either business or professional. Personal or professional.
Yeah. Oh God, I would say for business and for both business and professional and personal, it is time management. Like I mentioned before, my partner and I, we have 6 kids between us. We are running every which way, being pulled every which way for sports and extracurricular activities and birthday parties and you name it. And then on the business side, you know, we're out all day on the road. We're meeting clients. We're going on appointments. We're going to networking events. So really ironing out that time to sit and do paperwork and make phone calls and things like that can be challenging, because, you know, you're just go, 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 go. So really time management is something that I need to be better at.
Okay. And I have a quick question for you. Since you have 6 kids, how many times have people said, "Oh, you're like the Brady Bunch"? You've probably heard that like all the time.
Well, we're 3 boys and 3 girls, so we are definitely the Brady Bunch. I just
Oh,
tell everybody just to call me Jan or Carol. It's like,
that's I
because
can imagine
I
people.
feel like the maid and the nanny, but also
I can imagine. Anne-Marie, you're modest, so I'm sure when someone's very modest, they'll tell you what they need to improve on. That's a sign of a truly modest person. What do you need to improve on?
I'm with Kahla. One of my biggest issues has always been time management, um, both professionally and personally. I'm usually multitasking quite often, trying to, do everything at once and get it all done. And I really need to focus on, the tasks that I have to do and allow myself to, the time to do them actually. But, and setting goals for myself and actually sticking with them too on a personal level. That's, sometimes I get going and then after like a month, then it's like, forget it. It just kind of goes to the wayside. But, those are the 2 big things that I always find myself trying to, get going on. So it's a issue of mine that I've been dealing with for a long time. I have yet to figure it out for me, what works for me anyway.
Okay. How about you, Lisa? Lisa, I'm calling you Lisa again. I don't know why I think your name is Lisa. It is so weird. I've called you Lisa twice. I'm always good with names. Why do I think? Because I told you I knew a Mike Citera in L.A., but I don't know a Lisa Citera. Maybe that's his wife. I don't know. Anyway, Kathy. There you go, Kathy. I apologize. I feel like an asshole now. Kathy, something you need to improve on.
Oh, both professionally and personally, I would say consistency and discipline and making my plan and making my plan and following my plan. Or
Okay.
what's that saying? Plan your work your plan. I'll make up a calendar that AnneMarie's kind of sounds like you all. I mean, I'm good at like anything having to do with clients, I'm good at all of that. It's the other things in life or the back end things, office things that nobody sees but me. So it might be organizationally speaking. And same thing in my personal life. It's always been discipline and follow and like consistency.
Okay. So I always bring this question up because it's always the answers fascinate me, and I hear different answers all the time. I ask people about happiness and success, and to me, and there's no right or wrong answer. I tell people that, to me, I think they're two different things. I mean, happiness to me can be, hearing my wife laugh in the other room on a TV show. That makes me smile. That makes me happy. Success is, waking up and saying, okay, I'm doing good. I'm making a difference. Because people can be successful and not happy. I mean, I know many people, who have gone through that, especially being in the entertainment world, a lot of people who have success, but they have their demons, and people have that. So that being said, and since you're a coach, Kathy, I want you to start this off. To you, what is success and what is happiness? And if they're both the same thing, say that. That's fine. But what is it to you? What are they to you?
Yeah, happiness is those little things. The hearing my kids, when all three of my kids are here and sitting around the table and they're just laughing and stuff, just hearing their laughter. When my dog was alive, watching my dog when I would take him for a walk, how his little butt would, he was a Pomeranian Papillon, so he looked like a fuzzy caterpillar on, legs. And just seeing his little butt move back and forth. And, the first time I see tulips, the first crocuses that come up in the spring, the blossoms are on the tree right now. So those are the things that make me happy. Very, very simple. Hot cup of coffee in the morning, like a really good cup of coffee. Success is loving what I do and being able to build the legacy that I want, help the people that I want. So it's more about fulfillment, success. And I agree with you. I work with so many high achievers who are successful and are like, what happened? I thought if I had the bank account, if I had all the alphabet soup after my name, if I had the position, or I thought that was the secret sauce. And it's like, yeah, not really. So I work with a lot of people like that. So send all your celebrity friends my way. But yeah, success is really about being fulfilled, doing what I love, like having those two things meet in the middle, being able to pay my bills with it, and build a legacy, build something for my children, really loving what I do. And then, of course, the metrics, the obvious metrics of success.
Okay. How about you, AnneMarie?
I think for me, I think they're both, one and the same. I love my job. So as far as that kind of thing, I'm happy to come to work every day and do what I need to do. I'm happiest, I think, when I'm spending time, with my friends and my family, and seeing the successes that my son has been having, on his path, watching him become the man that he is now, and looking forward to what he's going to do in the future. So those, to me, for me personally, that's happiness. Just being able to do what you love and not have any issues with it. Basically, I mean, I came from another job where I loved my job, what I actually did, but I dreaded going into the office for other reasons. So I'm finally at, professionally at a good place, job that I love. I'm good at it. And, everything else that comes along just makes me happy. Like Kathy said, the little things, like with your pets and things like that, just the silly things that happen.
Okay. Hey, how about you? How about you, Kahla? Happiness, success. Are they the same, or do you have two different versions?
I'd have to agree with AnneMarie on the fact that they're one and the same on the professional side. If you're not happy in your workplace, if you don't have a good support system and a good team that you work with, and you get up every day and you don't want to go to work because you're not happy there, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to find that success. So I definitely think that they go hand in hand. On the personal side, I feel like, success and happiness, kind of is similar to when they say about materialistic things. You can't take them with you, right? So when you're at a funeral and somebody's giving a eulogy and they talk about how amazing this person is and all the things that they've accomplished with their family and their friends and how they made them feel, I feel like those moments in your personal life are what is going to make you happy and make you successful.
Okay. This next question, I want you to give me a one-sentence answer. A one-sentence answer, because remember that, a one-sentence answer. We're all from we all network a lot. We have to be out there. That's the name of the game. So, what do you like about networking, AnneMarie? Give me that one sentence, and maybe two sentences. What do you like about networking?
Meeting new people.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and it doesn't, it's just, that's it, just meeting new people.
And that's good, because I always say it's really, if it's always the same people, it's not really network. It's like hanging out. You know, like you can see people a few times, but like if you're always going to the same, like people, like when I do cocktails with Cooper, which people, if you want to come, the next one is March 5th at Laurel Lanes at Splits, my sponsor. I always get like 70 to 75 people, and I get people I don't even know. And someone's like, oh, is it okay? I'm here. I'm like, yeah, I want people. Like someone who new came in and they said, how can I meet people? I go, you're new. People are going to talk to you. And when you see something, you go, oh, it's like, oh my God, who's this person? And they had a branded shirt. So they know what you do. It was a painting company. And I was like, yeah. So anyway, Kathy, what do you like about networking?
Meeting new and interesting people that I can help and who can help me, like that supportive community.
Okay. Kahla.
I think when you network, you're just meeting new people. So you're meeting all walks of life. I find it interesting when you're at networking events and you're talking to people and finding out what they do. And you meet somebody and you're like, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know this was a career. Like, how could you have possibly gotten into this? And just kind of learning like what is honestly truly out there outside of your little bubble. I like that. I think it's interesting. I like learning about new people. So, and then also, meeting people that are going to be long-term partners for you, meeting people that are going to be in your environment that you can connect with going forward, I think is amazing too.
Okay. Well, ladies, our time's about up. So I always close with this question. Someone comes up to you, and it could be anyone, because you all have kids, so that's one thing. So you've gone through this, I'm sure, and but it could be someone at a networking event, or someone comes up to you and wants your advice about life, about business, looking you as sort of like a mentor. Like my mom always taught me. She said, always ask. Because if you ask, the worst answer you're going to get is no. And I've been in conversations where I don't know what a word means. And I'll ask them, and no one has ever said, you're stupid. They call me an idiot, but they don't say I'm stupid. But it's one of those things that, you learn. So, Kathy, what's the advice you would give someone who comes up to you looking at you as someone who respects you and wants to know, how do we figure this thing, life, how do we figure it out?
Stay curious, be open and willing to learn, and gosh, don't give in to the fear.
Okay, that's always good. How about you? How about you, AnneMarie?
Find something that you love to do and just do it.
Okay, that sounds good.
That's it. You got to like what you do.
And how about you, Kahla?
I'd say not being afraid to have the hard conversations, not being able to ask questions that, you're afraid somebody's, like you said, is going to call you stupid, or not being able to have the hard conversations where you have to tell somebody something that they don't want to hear. Being brave enough to speak up and be confident in what you're doing and your capabilities, but also understanding that it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshines.
Okay, well, this has been great. I've never really talked. I mean, as I said, I just met you the other night. I've talked to you a few times, AnneMarie. I've never met you, but you're from Stockton, so of course, and her son's from Stockton, and you went to Stockton. This is a whole, Sarah Corrali, the woman I'm friends with. I'm like, this is an Osprey moment, man. So, Kathy, how can people get in touch with you?
First of all, I lived in A Court, and I haven't gotten nearly enough credit.
Lived in A Court my senior year. What? I was in A2. What were you in? I was in H dorm. Then I was in H dorm 2 years, K dorm, and then in '86 I was in A Court.
Oh wow, I just missed you because I was there 84, 85.
Well, so I probably knew you. I knew. What was your What was your maiden name?
Gorman.
Kathy Gorman. That sounds familiar. I'm going to have to ask. It's funny. I have friends with a bunch of people from Acorn. We'll talk later about this. How can people get in touch with you? How can people get in touch with you?
Get in touch with you? If people want to reach me and they don't have my information, I'm on LinkedIn. I don't currently have a website. People can text me at 914-474-7855. Email me at coachkathycitera@gmail.com. All my social media handles are some version of Shine Coach Kathy.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Cool.
that's the easiest way. Or come knock on my door. I'll never answer, but leave me a note and then I'll call you.
How about you, AnneMarie? How can if they need some payroll, if they need Abacus, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can find me on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn. But they can just give us a call at 856-667-6225 and somebody will answer.
And Kahla, if they want to get in touch with you at Firstrust, how are we getting in trust? How are we getting in touch with Kahla at Firstrust Bank?
Well, I am on LinkedIn as well, and my direct contact information is on the headline. But you can always call my cell directly, 856-796-2831, or reach me on my email, kmiscavage@firstrust.com, and that's with 1 T.
Okay.
So Firstrust, I tell people.
All right. And people, you can get in touch with me, the Coop Tank at yahoo.com. If you need a moderator or a speaker for your events, I moderate. I'm doing the entrepreneurs thing for Gloucester County in April. I'm doing down there at Rowan. I'm going to be interviewing a bunch of young entrepreneurs. I do that. I do live interviews. If you want to have a podcast, if you have a podcast or you want to start one, talk to me. I will help you come up with the ideas. I will coach you to interview. Also, comedy-wise, March 29th at Soundplex Studios. It's Comedy, Corks, and Connections. It's our wine tasting, stand-up comedy, and networking. And I'll be hosting as I usually do. And I have Helene Angley, who just shot a dry bar special. We get the best headliners around. And also, March 5th is Cocktails with Cooper. I have 5 great sponsors come out. It's always wonderful. It's at Splits at Laurel, which I want to thank them for, being a sponsor. Also, go to YouTube. Go to the Coop Tank. Rate it. Watch it. Laugh at it. Love it. Also, you can find Coop's Comedy Corner. My guest this week was SNL writer T. Sean Shannon, who wrote most of Tracy Morgan's sketches. He's an old friend of mine, and that's going up next Tuesday. And then also go to coopertalk.net. Gino Vanelli, the crooner with a wonderful voice, that's going up today also. So that's about it. Don't forget, look at Joe Gangemi for Gangemi Woodworks. And right, Joe, Gangemi Woodworks?
That's it, Coop. Thank you.
Okay, and don't forget, check out SuiteRecording. Joe is great. That's why I bring my show here, and I will refer anyone. If you're going to do a podcast, you need a studio, you come to Joe. So I want to thank you. Look them up at SuiteRecording, SUITE recording.com. I want to thank you. I want to thank my guests. Everyone have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next time.